Good morning and welcome to SimWorld today, Monday morning. It is Championship Monday in SimWorld Prep, and you're stuck with me and only me as we gear up after an exciting weekend in prep basketball for what will be a exciting night in prep basketball as well. Of course, if you weren't paying attention, we've got a championship game, and it is all California. California Best Coast Ballers and the Bay Area Breakers advance with wins over a pair of teams that I don't know that many people thought they might get through, especially not the Beasts of the East win for Best Coast Ballers as they roll through and continue a season in which they've picked up now 14 wins. Let's start there with takeaways. We'll do both takeaways from both wins, and then what are we looking for tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern in the championship game of SimWorld Prep. So Best Coast Ballers, they take down Beasts of the East, which is as much of a takedown of the head coach as it is the depth of this team. And the takeaway from this is Ollie Cortez is that guy. 31, 5, and 7, putting up a all SWBA stat line in just 26 minutes. He does it by making just one three-point shot. But what was so great about Cortez's performance was his aggressiveness getting into the paint. Not only does he draw 4 fouls that draws him into 8 free throws, he also was just hyper aggressive at getting to the paint. He goes 10 of, if we're doing math, 17 inside the three-point arc. That's where his game is different, and that's where I think Beasts of the East did not do a good job of preventing him from getting downhill. Ollie Cortez is an exceptional athlete. He's a very good basketball player, and aggressive not only to know where to go, but to know exactly how to pick his spots. And I thought Cortez did an exceptional job of that last night. I also thought this was a great job by this team to just weather the storm. They did not necessarily play a great first quarter. They did not necessarily play a great first half. But you sit there and you're trailing entering halftime and you're trailing entering the fourth quarter. This is, I think we've got to give a hat tip to the coaching staff when Gino Dominguez and what they've done in Best Coast. Because this is a group that plenty of people had some question marks about the organizational structure 2 seasons ago, right? A lot of big talk, trying to bring in big names, and everybody talked last season about this is an opportunity for us to build. We're going to put together a group that can, it was young last season, one of the youngest teams in prep basketball. We're going to build around this group, we're going to get experience out of this group, and it's going to pay off next season. And all of that is coming to fruition for the Best Coast Ballers as they sit there with an opportunity now to win a championship. And it's not necessarily a turnaround I think many people would have expected 2 seasons ago, and it's certainly many probably weren't rooting for, considering just how brash they were when they walked in the building and said, we're going to win a championship. We're going to get people to develop. Screw this development versus winning. We're going to do both. And they've got an opportunity right now to step in and cement themselves as an organization, as one of the premier programs, if they're able to maintain it. Not only that, but also as you look at SimWorld U, there's eyes on this program now in a way that there weren't eyes on it before. They have to replicate what they did on Saturday, tonight, on Monday. But it's a big turnaround for a program that needed it, and a massive night from Ollie Cortez to get this team in a position to win a championship. Let's go to Bay Area Breakers, who they get the win over Heartland Zombie Stars 89-82. A much different approach for Bay Area. This is a team that's hung around, that's been in the conversation for each of the last 2-3 seasons, and a lot of that comes from the top down and head coach Trey Pope. Last night was top down in terms of we're going to get our guys rolling, and they did not stop shooting 60% in a game that featured some really, really good shooting on both sides, but it was the combination and the takeaway. Shane Jackson and Jickley, they were aggressive in getting to their spots, but I think it was really it'd be tough to sit here and say that the impact of 48 combined points from Jackson and Lee is not the big takeaway, but I do want to give one takeaway to Trey Bird. And I thought his shooting off the bench and living up to his name of Trey really set the tone for this team. Of course, Shane Jackson had a fantastic night. I'm not here to discredit any of that. But the takeaway is that this team is deep. If Best Coast Ballers, and I'm not saying they're always hyper-reliant on Cortez, because they're obviously not, but if Best Coast Ballers are in here because of a singular performance, it was the depth and consistency of Bay Area Breakers getting 7 3-pointers combined between Jackson and Trey Bird. And this is a bit of a confirmation season for Bay Area to get to this championship game, and credit to the head coach and Dre Pope, who as we mentioned, this is a team that's been knocking on the door, right? We've had great programs in Bay Area with the Trey Hyman years and subsequently shortened years, but this was a team that had some of the best prospects in college or in prep basketball and sent a lot of guys to high level prep programs, but what they hadn't done is won when it mattered. And so yesterday, or rather Saturday, we're recording this, obviously it's a Monday morning. On Saturday, this was a group that came together at the right time. They hit big shots down the stretch when they needed them. Their defense, you give up 82 points in 4 quarters of high school basketball, typically not a great thing, but the defense was able to get a timely stop or two when they needed it most. But the depth up top from this team was really impressive, and a 3-point outburst that you're really sequestering it to 2 guys, because outside of those 7, they made one other 3. It was Andre Pope Jr. Nobody else made a single 3 among 5, 6 guys that attempted at least one. Bay Area is going to have to find a way, and we'll segue that into what are we looking for on Monday. Bay Area is going to have to find a way to keep that repetition going. They're going to have to find a way to continue to be deep, because this is a Best Coast Ballers team that's playing with confidence. It's been one of the best, and depending on who you're asking, the best program this entire season. Bay Area's had its ups and downs. They have not been as consistent as the Best Coast Ballers have been all season long. So for Bay Area to get the win here, they're going to have to find a way to replicate getting open shots for their good 3-point shooters. Get Trey Bird as many open looks as he possibly can. Feed him when he comes in and takes his shots and make sure they're open. Ensure that you're getting Shane Jackson downhill and opportunities for him to score from beyond the arc. Because this is a team that when they are rolling from deep and when they're rolling offensively, it's very tough to stop. Meanwhile, Best Coast Ballers, find a way to make this a track meet. Find a way to take advantage of Bay Area breakers, potentially shaky defense at times. Heartland's Iowa Stars nearly got there on Saturday, and they couldn't quite finish the job in terms of making the defense the focal point of the challenges for Bay Area. I would look for Best Coast Ballers to replicate that. You're not going to be able to do it. I say that now. It's certainly possible you could. But 21 shots from Ali Cortez is not, and again, no disrespect to Cortez, but it's not necessarily something that I expect to be championship caliber. But it is something that they'll need to find a way. Can we get Cortez rolling while also not making it a one-man show? Because if I'm Bay Area, I'm looking at this roster and saying, make somebody else beat me. I don't care who it is, but make somebody else beat me. I don't want to sit here and look at a 31-5-7 night from Ali Cortez as the reason I'm not a SimWorld Prep champion. But also, can we just do a quick shout out to both of these coaches right here? Right? We're not looking at a group that's filled with, we don't have Monte Parson. We don't have Kai Killens. We don't have Almighty Soul in a championship game. And that's not to say that these basketball players on these 2 rosters aren't exceptional and don't have high ceilings potentially at the next level. But credit to both of these coaches, because they had to take down, both of them, a roughshod group of really good coaches to get here. And I think it's a credit to both of them that they have both prioritized development while finding ways to instill a winning culture in their programs. And we have talked at length about Assad Drake and Idris Williams. They're 2 of the most vocal head coaches in all of SimWorld Prep. They're 2 of the most successful coaches in all of SimWorld Prep. I think there's 2 names that you can add to that list now in terms of, hey, if I've got a young child that's going into a program that I want to win basketball games, that I want to be competitive, but I also want them to develop as a person and a player, I think right now, Best Coast Ballers in Bay Area, specifically Janino Dominguez and head coach Trey Pope, are sitting there looking at this and saying, we're good enough. We're a program that's developed enough. We've got coaches at the top that should be included in the conversation of some of the best coaches in all of prep basketball. My prediction, I'm going to go Bay Area. I like the depth of this group. I think they've gone on a hot streak, but Best Coast Ballers has been consistently great all season long. So I'm not going to jump off the ship of my prediction, but I'll take Bay Area only because I like the depth of it. But if Ali Cortez gets rolling and Best Coast does what they've been doing all season long, it's a tough team to beat. That is our show. We're coming back tomorrow with hopefully a little bit more expertise from our man Maestro. But of course, SimWorld Prep wraps up the season tonight, 7 p.m. right here on SimWorld TV. And that is precluded by a nice matchup in the ACC between North Carolina and Georgia Tech, a pair of top 15 teams going at it at 1 p.m. So a little afternoon college hoops to wet the palate, close things out with SimWorld Prep. And of course, our SimWorld U game of the week over in the ACC. Virginia Tech, Louisville coming at you Wednesday night. Massive implications in a really interesting ACC that features 4 teams kind of top to top at 7-2. Virginia Tech, Louisville, both in that category. Opportunity to get the heads up, the leg up on the competition is Duke and Miami. Also, we'll be going separately this week in a race that's likely to come down to the final week in the ACC. All right, that's our show. We're coming back tomorrow morning right here on SimWorld TV, recapping SimWorld Prep, recapping some college basketball as well. I've been Marsh with no co-host. We'll have one for you tomorrow here on SimWorld TV, the only place you can see the game, be the game.
This has been a presentation